Welcome back to NYSE TV Live, everyone. I'm Kristen Scholler here in studio at the Stock Exchange. If you pay bills online or send money digitally, chances are that you have probably used Zelle. It's a messenger service overseen by early warning. After Americans sent more than $1 trillion via Zelle just last year, we want to talk about what is next. And so joining me now with more is Cameron Fowler. He's the CEO of Early Warning, the owner and operator of Zelle. Cameron, welcome.
Good morning. Nice to see you.
It's great to have you on the show today. An impressive year 2024 for Zelle. What fueled that growth?
Well, I think that, Kristen, the main answer is trust. I think the main driver is trust. Americans rely on Zelle. 150 million Americans are using it. 200 million transactions a minute right now. So
Wow.
It really is changing the way money moves in the United States, but it's really powered by trust.
Yeah.
And small businesses as well. Beyond the 150 million, small businesses are really enjoying the use of Zelle in moving their business forward.
Why do you find that customers choose Zelle over other services?
I think it's the trust point again. As you know, Zelle is supported by their banks.
Yep.
Generally, there are 2,200 banks on the Zelle network. And so trust in banks, trust in bank security means trust in Zelle. And they know that in a world that's increasingly complex, where there are bad guys looking to do bad things, they can count on Zelle and their banks.
Mm-hmm. What are your projections for transactions this year?
Well, I think we'll continue to grow at same or greater rates because the trust is so high, the use cases are so many. And it isn't, again, as I said, just the cases that the individuals, the P2P users are driving. It's the small businesses. So 500 million small business transactions for $300 million. And that's just the beginning for small businesses, them being able to be paid, us being able to pay vendors in our lives. And additionally, small businesses being able to pay.
Mm-hmm. How does this impact financial institutions?
Great question, Kristen. This is a company, Early Warning, as the owner-operator of Zelle, that was founded 30 years ago by 7 leading banks in the nation. Cast your mind forward now, we have 2,200 banks on the network. The most interesting thing about that is 95% of those banks are not the big banks that we might think of immediately. These are smaller banks, credit unions, MDIs. 95% of them are of that size. That's really important because we believe that every American that has a bank account should have access to Zelle. Mm-hmm. So I think, when we think about growth and projections, we think about having, more banks on the network, therefore more users.
Yeah, and how do you make it user-friendly so that it is seamless for someone to use?
That's also a great question. There's a balance in here. We want to remove friction and make it easy to move money between people that you know and trust. At the same time, we want to make sure we have steps and controls to ensure that people know exactly who they're sending to, that they recognize the name. And so we continually test and take feedback and make sure that we're finding that right balance.
Mm-hmm. Now, we've talked about the transactions that you expect, same or better growth. What about your own growth strategies or goals for Zelle, how it might evolve this year?
Well, great question. The Early Warning as a company has 3 businesses. Zelle is an important one. That's the one that's really quite well recognized. We have a newer business that's called Pays,
Yep.
And this is an online checkout capability. Very similar principles. Banks coming together to solve an online checkout problem that is about convenience, trust, and security, most importantly. So between Zelle and Pays, we see significant growth, but underneath these businesses is an important data capability that we have been building over 30 years. We lead the industry in fraud and risk and identity security. So both of those businesses are being underpinned by this leading data capability. Mm-hmm. So I think growth in consumers, growth in small business, and growth in Pays will make for Americans a terrific year.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned earlier on, Cameron, just the trust that is embedded with the relationships with these long established financial institutions with Zelle. How can you ensure our viewers that there is a cybersecurity element of protection here as well?
Yeah, I think this is the whole point of the matter. I think Americans understand that in order to enroll and to participate in a bank in the United States, there is enrollment screening, there's multi-factor authentication, there is all manner of testing to ensure that you are who you say you are. That's a good thing. And that's the basis of the security for Zelle. And we continue to improve that. We do lead the industry in the balance of data and technology with network controls to ensure that we're helping the good guys, Americans, and we're stopping the bad guys. And on the stopping the bad guys, I would say a big part of success this year will be to call the industry together to ensure that we all work together, government, law enforcement, big tech, banks, networks, Zelle, to continue doing all that we're doing to stop criminals from, putting risk into the system through fraud and scams. I think we're doing a terrific job. I think the banks are doing a terrific job, but there's more to be done.
Cameron Fowler, CEO of Early Warning, the owner and operator of Zelle, again with those transactions surpassing $1 trillion last year. Cameron, thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you.